My peoples, welcome to Rants and Randomness. This is a bonus episode. From time to time, I bring you a deep dive on a particular topic. And on this episode, I want to talk about social media etiquette and our behavior on these platforms. So social media is often thought of to be less formal than traditional mode, right? We've all grown up on these platforms. We have access to everybody instantly. But how you engage on social is increasingly important because that is where people are getting businesses. It's where they're meeting the loves of their lives. It is where they're hanging out every day. We are all spending a lot of time every day on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and for those who are younger, Snapchat. And there's also LinkedIn to allow you to be buttoned up. So the days of social being just purely personal and informal are kind of gone because, yeah, sure, in the beginning, nobody had rules because it was kind of the Wild Wild West. But now we figured out the rules. We figured out that social media needs to be used properly. Now, a lot of this is going to be about, business. But I think business and personal are often blurred now. Some rules of general business etiquette on social media need to be expressed. And for me, being the cantankerous auntie that I am, I often get mad how people come at me on social media just because I'm always like, how do you not know to do better? I have a whole section in my book about social media etiquette just because I realized that we were all operating in these spaces and we hadn't really paid attention to how to behave because some of us lose all home training on social. Now, one of the things that people do that makes me upset the most on social media is when they will slide into my DMs or leave a comment where they're asking me for a favor and they've never messaged me before. What I mean is somebody who's never sent me any type of messages, not a, oh my God, I love that picture. Oh my gosh, shout out, congrats on that. Oh my God, here's who I am, will randomly message me and say, hey, share my link, or hey, donate to my GoFundMe, or hey, watch this video of me and my kids. It always makes me upset because I'm like, okay, I get it. I am a fan of shooting your shot. I always tell people don't have the fear. However, you got to shoot your shot correct. You need to show up before and nurture a relationship before you ask for a favor. It's like, you can't just walk up to a stranger on the street and say, hey, tell your friend about my mixtape. First of all, the stranger's going to be like, what's your name? Because I do not know who you are. 2, why would I? You have to operate on social kind of with the same rules that you would do in real life. If you would not ask a random stranger on the street to pass on your link to a random friend of theirs, why would you ask somebody online? Again, social media makes everybody feel like we're all familiar, we're all BFFs. A lot of times you can actually build a relationship and get a BFF on social because, Insta stories all day long, I'm replying to people all day, just be like, yes, I love that. But if the first thing I've ever said to the person was for them to do something for me, one, I'm being incredibly selfish because what have you done for me lately? Why would I do something for you when I don't even know you? So oftentimes, way too often, people will roll into these DMs and be like, hey, I have this link. And I sometimes will reply and say, first of all, I literally don't know your name. I do not know who you are. And then they're like, well, my name is, and I'm like, okay, but then what do? You just can't drop in on me with no introduction, with no context. How is this supposed to work for you? I sometimes will reply to people because I want people to stop that bad behavior. Oftentimes, people do the things that we don't like, and instead of correcting them, we just roll our eyes, so they keep on doing it. My whole thing is if I tell you one time that I do not like it and you keep doing it, that's when I usually can block you with no guilt. So, again, behave on these platforms like you would in real life, okay? Why would I share your link? Right? What is going to tell me, yes, this link I should share? Why should I? Who are you? Tell me who you are. Okay? It's just the most simple thing. Let me tell you how you can come correct. After a couple of months of, corresponding with somebody on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, of actively this person has replied to you before. You guys have had conversation. You've nurtured some sort of a relationship. I'm not saying it has to be deep. You say, hey, I would really appreciate if you could check out this link. It is you tell the context. So let's say I want to actually email somebody who I've just been DMing and I want them to see my TED Talk, right? I'll say, hey, I've loved your work for such a long time. My name is Luvvie. I know I've never formally introduced myself, but we've been corresponding. But I'm Luvvie. I'm a writer. I'm a speaker. I'm a digital strategist. I did a TED Talk in December 2017 that's actually doing pretty well. And I noticed in your Insta stories, you were talking about how people get really uncomfortable and don't know how to deal with it. Well, my TED Talk happens to be about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think you would like it. Take a look if you have the time. Thank you. Right? See what happens there? 1, I do not assume that they're entitled to take a look to my link. 2, I introduce myself. 3, I tell them why I'm sending them this in this moment. So I give it context. And then I thank them for the time, even if they don't take the time to click it. That message is way more likely to get responded to than, hey, here's my link. Check it out. I'm not clicking that link, even if it would be good. So please come correct in that way. The other thing is consider your branding on social. Like if you're contacting somebody within the app, how are you coming when they finally do check you out? If they do click on the link, if they do hit your username because you want them to follow you, are you coming correct enough where they're like, you know what? Yeah, this is an account that I want to follow. Are you somebody who's making it hard for the person who you're requesting to do something to say no? You want to be the person that makes it really hard for them to say no to whatever request you have. Similarly, when others come, your branding being on point also helps for when other people recommend you. A couple of weeks ago, I posted on Instagram about how my eyebrow lady's retiring, which barbers retiring, our eyebrow and hairdressers retiring. These are traumatic moments in a woman's life, okay? Because trying to find a new person is a whole new thing. You have to court because this person that you've had for a long time, because I had my lady for 9 years, she knows me. I lay down, she gets my eyebrows together, I don't got to say nothing. So now I got to come up with a whole new person. It is a traumatic moment, okay? I needed thoughts and prayers. So I posted on Instagram and was like, yo, if anybody knows anybody in Chicago, let me know. Within 10 minutes of me posting that, about 20 people had put the same username at Ash Does Brows. And I was like, oh, let me click on this person's link. So I click on the link of their Instagram username, and on their profile, they reposted my ask and told their people to go tell me to check her out. I actually didn't mind that. It was really smart. She was like, hey, y'all, my work is good. Go tell Luvvie about me. So when I kept on seeing her name, I clicked on her link. And then when I saw her, I looked through her profile and she had posted different eyebrows that she'd done over the years. She posts her work anytime she has a client. And I was like, oh, she's good. Oh, yes, this person's eyebrows are snatched. Yes, ma'am. She also came and commented and was like, hey, Luvvie, let me know if I can be of help. I'm available. I commented and said, hey, do you happen to have time within the next, sometime today? And she was like, I'm DMing you right now. She comes in my DM and says, yes, I can get you within the next hour. I went up there within that hour and she did my brows and got them together. And that was a perfect moment of what happens when your branding meets opportunity and it's the right time. And she came so correct that I have no other reason to not go to her again. I wanted to give her props because when all these people were recommending her, and I went on her page, what made me say yes was that she had her work there. I saw that she was professional. I saw that she, her Instagram represented this person who knew her stuff. So I had no reason to say no. A lot of people make it hard for you to say yes to them. Why? For example, if I went on her profile, no matter if 100 people say yes to her and said you should go to her and her profile was a complete mess and there were no eyebrows on there was just shenanigans, I wouldn't be able to tell what her work looked like. This woman had her stuff together. And in that way, when the opportunity arose, she was the right person for me to go to. That was perfect. I just want to talk about how I see so many people not take that opportunity in that way and not use it in the best way. My girl Blake posted looking for a web designer and was like, you guys send me recommendations. So after I talked about Ash on my Insta stories, Blake messaged me and was like, yo, when I asked people for web designer recommendations, half the people they sent me didn't even have portfolios that showed their work. How am I supposed to know the quality of your work when you don't even have anything that represents it in a good way? So, again, be like Ash. Shout out to Ash Does Brows. If you're in Chicago, holler at her. She is good. She waxes, she doesn't thread. I don't thread my eyebrows because it makes me cry. But that's besides the point. Come correct, okay? Come correct. She was ready. Now, social media. We're used to bite-sized pieces of information. You know, I was on Twitter since 2008, went 140 characters. So it actually taught me how to say big things in small spaces. When you are rolling somebody's DMs, do not send them a 5-paragraph DM. Like, if I have to scroll too much, no. Send 1 paragraph. Even my intro to somebody when I'm saying, hey, watch my TED Talk, that's really only about 7 sentences. That's 1 paragraph. Do not be in DMs just like writing tomes and essays to people. Figure out how to make things concise, okay? What DMs do is, hey, my name is this. I have a longer email I would love to send you. Do you have an email address I can use to contact you? That is the job of the DM in that moment. That is not where you send a long business proposal. That is not it. Use the DMs to get the information that you need to get this person to give you the information you need from them. So most of the time it's email, okay? Do that. Be as clear as possible. Nobody wants to read a tome because I'm going to be like, get to the point. What are you trying to say to me? What are you trying to say to me? Use smaller words. Use fewer words, but don't necessarily use shorthand. I'm not trying to also, solve a riddle, but DMs are not for papers. Now, emails, also not for long papers. Do not send nobody a 5-paragraph email. Keep your words short, y'all. It's so important. Whenever I open an inbox, an email message, and I see 5 paragraphs or like just a big block of text, I close it back because I don't have the brain capacity to deal with it in that moment. And instead of replying, I'm just like, I'll get back to it. And oftentimes, I always forget. I'll forget to get back to it, and then you think I'm bogus because I didn't reply. Keep your words short, all right? And then, when you are following up with people, after you've sent them an email or a DM, please don't do it the same day. I'm going to need you to wait at least 24 hours before saying, hey, I sent you an email. Hey, or write in somebody's comment section, hey, can you check your DMs? Don't do that. Please don't do that. It just derails a conversation. Give people at least 24 hours to reply to any message that you send them. Because a lot of people get a lot of messages. People have information overload. Yours is not urgent. If it's urgent, I always tell people, if for some reason the message you have for me is urgent, you should probably call 911, not me, because I can't help you if it's that urgent. If it's life or death, I am not the one to call. Give people ample time to reply to you. Honestly, 24 hours is still kind of short. If you send an email to somebody, don't reply after a day and saying, hey, I sent you an email. Make it 48 hours, okay? Please and thank you, because otherwise, somebody once sent me a follow-up email within 12 hours of sending me the first email, and I wanted to throw my computer out the window. I was like, no. In fact, it made me not want to reply to this person because I'm just like, how selfish are you that you think I have to drop everything to reply to you? So don't be that person. Don't be annoying. And then my biggest pet peeve on social is people who tag you randomly, okay? Example. People will post a video or a flyer to an event that they're having that I am not going to be at. And they'll tag 50 of us to it. So it shows up in our photos on Instagram or it shows up in our photos on Facebook. And it drives me up the wall because I'm like, you did that because you wanted my audience to see your stuff. What you're doing there is capitalizing and exploiting my audience for your purposes, and they're not there for that. That is spamming. Do not tag people you do not know in your posts unless they have explicitly agreed to be tagged or they're in the post. If I'm in the post, if it's about Jesus and Jollof, if it's about rants and randomness, me and you took a picture together, absolutely, please tag me. I want to see that. I absolutely want to see that. I want that in my photos. If it's about stuff that's related to me, yes, tag me. If it is randomly your event or your product that you just want my audience to see, please don't tag me because that is considered spam. I consider it spam, and things like that will get you blocked. I try to be the person who tells people not to do this. So when it happens, sometimes the first time somebody tags me or something, I'll just go in and untag myself. But if they've done it twice, 3 times, 4 times, I'm like, oh, you're going to make a habit of this. Usually I'll slip into their messages and say, hey, please don't tag me in things that don't have anything to do with me. And honestly, that actually stops them from doing it in the future. Everybody who I've asked to stop tagging me has actually been like, oh, okay, got you. Or sometimes they'll be like, oh my God, it was a mistake. Instead of us rolling our eyes at these folks who do the things that we don't love, sometimes we just need to correct them one time and it corrects it. Do not, as a point of habit, as a marketing 101, do not tag anybody, not just me, in something that they're not in, that has no relation to them. This is not a good marketing technique. You will get blocked. It will actually backfire on you if you do that. And I hope more people start telling others to stop. You have the right to kind of give people this boundary and be like, no, I don't like that, don't do it. So that is the biggest thing for me, is that marketing loss. It's like people forgot to use the same, again, it's the same modes and same concepts of communication, except in real life. You know what I mean? Like, except in social. So how you wouldn't paste somebody's name next to a wall at a party that they're not at, don't tag somebody that is not in a picture to a picture. It's just not it. It's the best way to market it is just be honest. Tell a story. Do not ever force people to consume your product. Do not force people. It's like grabbing somebody's face and say, pay attention. If you came correct, you don't have to grab their face. So, like, don't be a digital party crasher. It's a wrong way to get people to want to buy your product. It's the wrong way to get people to want to consume whatever art it is. I think you just need to create products that can stand by the story you tell. So if you want me, for example, to check out something, all you have to do is just talk to me like you would if you saw me in real life. You know, you can message me and say, hey, my name is this. I'd love for you to check out this event that I'm having. Here's the link. Thank you for your time. You give me no pressure. You show me that you respect my time. And you are actually giving me the information that can tell me whether or not I even want to click this. I respect that over the people who just drop in randomly, over the people who tag me to random stuff, over the people who send 8 paragraphs of not saying much. That it's just a simple way for you to get the attention of people you want, and not be a bugaboo. Just be a regular human, except on a platform that is in your hands, right? Always think to yourself and ask yourself, how would I deal with this in person? If this person was standing in front of me, what would I say? So that's how I deal with social, is I just behave like it is real life. And it has gotten me the attention of people who I've wanted to reach. It's allowed people to know my story. And it's allowed me to build this career. Just be yourself in the most honest way, and then treat people and talk to people in a way that it feels like they're in front of you. So, yeah, man. If you have any questions for me or any ideas for bonus episodes that you want me to do, email me at loveyrants@gmail.com. That's loveyrants@gmail.com. And make sure you check out the Squad Goals bonus episode and the Winning at Working bonus episode. Check those out, and I'll be bringing you more of these. Follow Rants and Randomness on social media. On Twitter, we are at Rants Randomness, no and. On Instagram, at Rants and Randomness. All right, see you on the next episode.